Actually, I have to say that it was good coffee. You know, I'm Italian. I am an expert on coffee. Do you know how many ways you could order a coffee in Italy? 250. 250. Coffee, ristretto, small coffee, cappuccino, marocchino, mochaccino, with milk, without milk, long water. And another way, another little bit of suggestion about coffee, just to warm up after a coffee break. When you take a cappuccino in Italy, never order a cappuccino at dinner. Never. You will see people, or cappuccino, espresso, just espresso, but cappuccino in the evening. And do you know what does mean cappuccino? Cappuccio? Hat. Exactly. Was developed by monks, and monks were wearing a hat, and it literally means small hat, developed by young monks. So cappuccino. And you know one of the easiest way to greet in Italy? The word that everyone uses is perfect. Ciao, ciao, ciao. Do you know the meaning of ciao? It is correct. You use it as when you start or when you leave is the same ciao. But what is the meaning? And I found very unique that in Hungary they use sia as in the same way, and it has exactly the same meaning. So it's coming from old Italian, from Venice. You need to go back in the 1500, when people was greeting, saying, "Schiavo vostro," means literally, "I am your servant." Schiavo vostro. Schiavo vostro. And then become schiavo. Schiavo, corruption, become ciao. So literally means, "I am your servant." So, ciao is exactly this. Sia has exactly the same meaning in Hungary. "I am your servant." I was so surprised to find that these similarities. So, ciao means I'm your servant. Okay, so as a servant, now we'll start. We were talking about overcoming objection. Objection is not negative. 80% of the time is a request formulated in a negative form or has objection, but in reality is a request to understand better. What qualifies an objection from positive to negative? Body language. So if you develop skill set about body language, you can also qualify if an objection is in reality, "Tell me more, give me more, I'm conquered." You are halfway of a sales because I'm really interested and I formulated as a customer an objection, or what you're telling me, what is the meaning? The body language of the people in front of you will tell you if it is a positive reading or negative reading, if the objection is a way to go further, if you go deeper, or in reality you need to be aware that it is becoming negative. But in any case, a question or objection, sorry, not question, an objection cannot be ignored. So you need to take care about this. If it is highlighting a weak point, the best way is to move it later on and try to build time to develop your answer, but you need in any case to develop an answer, not ignore. An ignored objection become a stone on your way to get the closing. Closing. I said already you will start, "Alex, how many times you are telling us?" closing is important. It's time to get the signature of the order. But it's not only this. It's also the time to get all the detail of a trading agreed. Signing an order is not enough if the trading agreement are not clear and are not good for us. Because the customer goal is to get a trading agreement good for them and not necessarily are good for us. So you need to be careful on detailing out all the trading agreement. And this can be a long process. So the close of agreement can be a close of a complex contract, especially if you're dealing with USA, where it will be 20-25 pages of a contract that you needed to get through. Sometimes you need to make that and sign, otherwise no business. And useful or not useful is also can be a negotiation to restart. Someone was asking me about Russia. Another experience for me that was different was that got the order, discuss everything, but after start again. But we agreed. Ah, yeah, yesterday was yesterday. Now we have to discuss. So in reality, closing the order is not something that guarantee to you that everything is going to happen as you expected. So you need to be very cautious to control everything because the negotiation can be restarting. On the other end, the negotiation restart can be also useful for you. We were talking about experience. Another negative experience for me. I was attending a reverse auction. Do you know reverse auction? The reverse auction is when you go on internet and you bet your price. And the winner is who get the price lower. We are discussing about 20,000 retail scanner for Carrefour. A lot of business, very interesting. 2 days of reverse auction, 2 days. On internet, I was sleeping on the floor, just to be sure that the team, we were beating, 5 euro less, 5 euro less. And at the end, we lost because we were going lower the threshold that NCR set up. We lost against another company. I don't tell you the name. It's advertising for competition. So another company, and we lost. But they was much clever than us. They used the time of a contract to erase the price. So they closed at the price that was 20% higher of the auction closing. Just because they were very good on managing the contract, highlighting that there were some part of the contract that the Carrefour was making not properly, or was probably because was well done, but at the discussion, they realized that it would be important to have something, or the sales guy from the competition was good to highlight that maybe in the contract was missing something. Whatever it is, at the contract signature, they got 20% more. Be aware. This can be a negative or positive. You just need to drive this cleverly. So you can use the contract discussion to recover from a big discount. Oh, sorry, but if you want to really deliver it in 2 days, the delivery in 2 days is going to cost 10% instead of delivering 20 days. And if it is a matter of speed, you never told us, was not part of the discussion before, now price go up. And again, can be used by both. But can be a good time at the closing when you consider to have closed, the detail and nail down detail of the closing can be an opportunity. After sales is always an opportunity. The sales does not finish, as we said before, just closing. The sales guy, the sales people need to be aware of how the fulfillment is going to go. My suggestion is not to involve them too much on the fulfillment by itself, but need to be reported, need to be updated about how going, and run customer satisfaction. Do you use customer satisfaction survey? Good, clever. is very relevant, is very important. Salespeople hate it, the company love it. It's important to gather feedback and keep constant communication with your customer. It's also important to improve. The responsibility of a sales team is also to check payment. Another thing that often people forget, salespeople forget. The responsibility of a sales guy is to get a payment, not only the order. At the end, I can be very good and get a fake order or orders that then at the fulfillment become a nightmare, costing too much to the company, or after the fulfillment, the payment does not apply. So check for payments. For example, salary part, variable, the incentive should be on actual paid, not on sales, not on revenue, actual pay. To stimulate, incentivate salespeople to be aware of the relevance of closing totally the selling cycle, not only closing at the signature of the order. Always, after sale, check for new opportunities inside the customer, always. Now, little bit of mathematics. I told you of mathematics. And I discovered a funny thumb rule, the rule of 3. To get one order, how many qualified prospects should I have? One possible question could be, what is qualified prospect? Because I never mentioned, but by the way. And the number. So, after coffee, come on, you should be all wake up. So what is a qualified prospect? What does it mean in the selling cycle? It's a prospect where you were running already introduction, you were running understanding, you were running presentation. So you qualified. You are more or less already close to the end. So what is the relationship between a customer who sign and qualified prospect? That could be good comment, by the way. If it is 1 to 10, then your qualification process is wrong. It's too high. But you need to catch this on metrics and understand, because again, sales is a mathematics. So as a thumb rule, I cannot guarantee that it's perfect, but it has a sense. 3. To get one order, you need to have 3 close to order customer. So if you look at the funnel of your people, of a salespeople, do you know what is a funnel on sales? Funnel, it's a tool to make a cooking, but it's also used. It's not casual that this has this shape. This is the shape of a funnel. So the funnel in sales, if people give you forecast and you have a target, you as a sales manager, you should be aware that to get 100,000 euro sales, you need to have 300 euro forecast. If you do not have a minimum of 300, it's very unlikely that you're going to get the 100. So this is the first rule of 3. With one customer, 3 prospect. Then, next. If you want to have 3 forecasted prospect, you need to have 3 prospect. So, how much count now? To get one order, how many prospects you need to have? 9. So, if you do not deal with 9 people, it is very unlikely that you're going to get one order. Now you understand. And to have 3 prospects, you need to have 3 qualified lead. Qualified lead is someone after the introduction. You're still not in the presentation phase, but you get in touch with them. So you need to have at least 3. How many are we now? 27. Now, a little bit of trick. But to move from the initial target to a qualified need, you have a 100 magnifier. So you need to have 300. Guys, to get one order. Target. So you want to target Italy for your product. And you started to assess what is your market sector. And you nail down, cut down. So if you want to get one order, you need to have at least, now the computation is here, 8,100 possible customer. If you want 2 order, 16, and so on. So you need to have a very good understanding. Now, I said to you, it's a thumb rule. It's not precise, perfect mathematics. Can be 2.5, 2 and 7, or 3.5, or whatever. But roughly, you need to be aware. What is this portion is normally very relevant for marketing people who try to start to analyze a market, define the advertising, define how to attend. So, by example, if you attend an advertising, who is working marketing out of you or is in the marketing environment? So when you run a marketing campaign, do you take in account this number? If to you today for this seminar, how many invitations did you send out? None, because everyone was so eager. Oh, Alex is speaking. Yeah, let us go. Roughly, there should be some thousand, 6,000. Roughly. I mean, now here we are in a different position because there are multipliers that play in a different way, because you're going to send 6,000 not really at this level, but at this level. So the counting is different. But again, in this area, we talk about marketing. In this area, we talk about sales team. And what is, for me, relevant for you as a sales manager, remember, forecast, 100 euro, you need to have 300 euro. And possible 900 expected. But here you talk about number, actual sales. Here you normally talk about the count of potential people that you need to interact with.
But these are more important for end users, like these are numbers for end users, I understand, because for potential clients of retailers, it's like usually like 1 to 100, 1%.
No. Is applicable to every sales. You believe? First, that is already an interesting question. Probably you in terms of customer, you have this in mind, that where the computation is much lower, or something in the middle. I'm saying your target universe. So the population of people you can convey your proposal is roughly like that. Can be even multiplied by 1,000, depending on the kind of market. Here, probably is the area where you have your customer. Already qualified, you know to talk with, they know you. And you can talk about the proposition, so the numbers are much lower. But if you do not have enough customer, probably it's now time to open new market. Okay, so this is about the selling cycle and about mathematics. Now I'm going to bore you on. We are going to take again many of the camps that we developed so far, but before lunch, we are going to talk essentially on how managing the sales cycle, and we are going to talk about channels. There were a good question that I got at the coffee time that I would like that the gentleman that was placing to me is going to repeat the question, because I think is valuable. We are going to talk about this in terms of channels, and also the answer is valuable. Let me check. Here it is. Thank you. Okay, how many of you use a distributor? Sorry, I placed the question too quickly. Differentiation between reseller and distributor. Distributor sell to reseller, or is a wholesale selling to a big number of customers. Reseller is selling directly to the customer. Normally, distributor and wholesale is one per country. Reseller can be 10, 20, 30 per country. Okay, so now, how many of you use distributor? Okay, how many of you use reseller? Okay, okay. We will. So I wanted you to give the question now. Just keep on hold, and we are going to answer through the slides, and I will capture your question at the slide, because there is a lot of very valuable on that question. That's why I wanted that we have a time to talk together. So it's a kind of a board game, or it's a war game. Reach the prospect means to be able to conquer territory, to go in different territory. It can be even part of Lithuania, it can be just a market sector, or it can be outside. So how to reach them? How to go from you and the customer? There are many ways. We touched part this morning just to get a complete picture. So one way is to go direct. I have money. I buy 2,000 salespeople, and I send them around in the world to sell my products, or around Lithuania to sell my products. What is valuable on a direct salespeople? You can manage, you can control, you can drive. What is the negative part? It's very expensive. So to go in this way is in theory perfect, but from an economical standpoint is very, very expensive. Another way, use indirect sales, channels, reseller, distributor, wholesale distributor. So go to them, through them, using them. Negative part, you disconnect from your customer. You are farther from your customer. Good part, you share their cost with the other products. Remember this word, you share. Because of a complete game around that will be mind sharing. So in the channel, you share the cost with other brands. Not competing, but in any case, other brands. Or if you are working with consumer, or if you are so good on developing your unique sales proposition, You can even jump through them and use low-cost e-commerce. Many wine manufacturers in Italy are now mainly selling through e-commerce because the wine product that they sell is so well known, so good, that they can sell through e-commerce. Other newcomer, they rely on direct sales or channel because they need to get knowledge and themselves known in the market. It depends on where you are in your life, in your sales cycle, or your product development. You can use, there is no perfect answer, one or the other, but be aware there are cost and economic implications on using one channel or the other. If you choose a channel distributor, you need to be aware that it becomes a customer by itself. It's not a customer for your product, but is a customer for your company. And the tricky now become that you need to manage them as a sales, but is a customer of yours. So you need to think also how to please them, how to get them engaged, how to work with them. My job for 15 years was vice president for channels. And I was using hunter, farmer, and I was having very clearly in mind why it was so much complex to make my job, just because it was Alex, but nevertheless, it was complex because you need to have an eye watching to customer, retail, and an eye watching to channel as a customer to be sure that they are convinced to work with you. So, your proposition need to become a value for them, need to be a substantial asset for them. They're just not a vehicle. They are much more complex. They are partner, customer, and vehicle. So you have essentially, when you enter a market, you have two kinds of customer out of the two customer prospect and actual customer. But you have two kinds of client. The channel, that is in any case a client, and the retailer or whatever is the customer that buy your product. I developed a strategy. This is Alex, and this is an extraction of a seminar presentation that I was running about this technology or way. How open new market or a market segment when I do not have knowledge, I do not have a local sales contact. It's not so easy to develop a real assessment, and costs a lot of money because when you open a market, you need to take in account seeding. Do you know what does mean seeding in sales? Seeding is giving for free products for demo, for evaluation, to build the referrals. And you need to always be prepared to seed the market that you're going to make it, because one of the key points to open a market is to create a reference. Enter a market without a reference is very hard, because the people want to know where did you sell your products, where your service has been already used in my country. No one. I come back later. So first, seeding. Seeding means buying market share, making the opportunity with someone to have an installation and be ready maybe to take out after 6 months or 3 months, but you need to be there. And then develop sales and marketing communication. So entering the market requires at least to develop an action plan, around these 3 components. And the other question is, as you were saying, how to rely on a local distributor. Positive is, or local reseller, that you're going to have a variable cost, minimal investment. You can be just making an agreement. I give you 100 units and you pay when you sell, or I give you 100 units, you pay now and forget how they're selling. The problem is that it's not predictable. Just working with the wholesales or a distributor, when you start the market, how can you predict the sales? It's not easy. It's impossible. Clearly, if you are already selling by 10 years in that market, you can, based on history, start to make some forecast and predict sales. But at the start is not easy. And you are at the mercy of the distributor. You need to rely on what they are doing. And you are far and you don't know in reality the market. And there are also some hidden costs. For example, going back to your question, I open up a wholesale distributor for Europe because I thought it would be a clever way how to sell, but the way I was doing was a mistake. It was a disaster. And then I realized that in order to be successful, I needed to get an employee of mine inside the organization of a distributor. So I paid to hire, actually we agreed to pay 50-50, to pay a local champion inside a distributor organization that would help me to get mind share of the salespeople of a distributor to be sure to sell my product. Because opening a contract or an agreement is not enough. You can be good as well. But your wholesale distributor probably has another 100 good products to sell. And if you have 100 good products to sell, why they should pay attention to your product? So it becomes a mind share game. How to conquer the mind share of your wholesales? How you do that? Any suggestion? How to win in the mind share game? Incentive. Bring it to a cruise in North Scandinavia or in Italy for the salespeople. Buy, as I just said, buy a local champion who will guarantee presence about your products. So make incentive. But this is, and I'm going to allow you to play, but this is a hidden cost. It's not so hidden. I mean, it's a cost of your value chain going to a market that you need to take in account. You cannot think that you're going to conquer a market signing an agreement with a wholesale or a distributor. Meaningless. No. Zero. Nothing. Because if you do not take in account how to mind control their salespeople, nothing. Question? Sure. In any case, good relationship is fundamental and useful for developing sales. But you need to articulate a little bit better. Again, it's not enough to have a good relationship, because maybe you have a good relationship with the buyer, and the buyer is fired or going outside and you are dead. So you need to have a good relationship with the complete organization that is representing yourself in a country. That means go to the salespeople of your reseller. Go to the distributor salespeople and be sure to get a way to conquer their mind share. There are ways, not only this, there are also other ways that we're going to talk about this. The other way, we just talk about this, is to develop your sales team and deploy some people to expatriate and go in the local country to develop, possible learning the language, learning the culture, and develop, and start to make the market development. It is good because you can get an understanding of a market much better than relying only on wholesale or distributor. You get a relation with direct customer, even if, as we just talked, is a private investment, and more. Once the sales guy, the good sales guy, in this case, normally we talk about hunters, go and develop, the negative part is that as much as he is going to be successful, is going to be sucked out his energy by the customer that he need to take care. So as soon as you get 3 customer, 5 customer, how many customer you can be in comfort zone that a sales guy can handle? How many? That is a nonsense. It is a nonsense. A sales guy can manage in between 5 to 10 customers. More, you are putting in danger your sales capability. Remember the metrics. Again, sales is much more mathematic of what you can consider. Assigning 60 customers, then is possible only if you have a distributor. Then, or sorry, reseller. Then you can have 60 customers, 6 reseller managing them. Otherwise, you are in danger. Because as soon as you get one and you are a winner, he kills you. He don't have time to make anything else if you are an hunter, because he will demand. And more you're good, and more he demands from you. So, managing sales forces require attention to pay metrics. Assigning 60 customers, from my perspective, is a nonsense. It's very risky that you're going to. Then it's better to set up priority and say 60 customers. So in the term of a target universe that we said before, you have in your periscope, in your site, 60. But the priority is on 30. At all these 30 this year, we want to get 10 closed. We are in the matrix of 3 that we said before. That is become a sense. 60 is dangerous. And then remember that the selling is not enough. You need also a good execution. So you need to have this done properly by your sales team. To execute. Staying again on the direct sales, it has a lot of sense if you have a really major account, a limited number of customers that are big and you can rely upon. Then direct sales can be very effective because you don't need so many. You don't need so much seeding units. It is a limited number of customers and you can go. Be aware that in any case, having a big customer also implies low margin on your sales. Because a big customer is empowered to get supplier from everywhere, from any corner, from India, from China, from whatever. So your cost pressure is going to be very high. Require a disciplined sales team that is able to make all the steps in sales with discipline. Sales is not a matter of artist. It's an art, but does not require an artist. You need to be very disciplined on executing and be aware of what you are doing. We talk about expensive in terms of approach, and we talk about already about bandwidth, the example of 60 customers. Too many customers assigned to a salespeople is limiting the bandwidth of a salespeople. As we said, my proposal is to be sure that you are limiting between 5 to 10 accounts. On the other side, indirect sales, reseller or distributor is very effective on opening a new market, can give to you local touch instantly, but you need to be aware that it is like outsourcing your sales force to someone else. So you need to put in place all the outsourcing technique to get the outsourcing done as should be. Where the indirect sales are very powerful. When we talk about customer, again, I don't know in your specific market in your specific product solution or whatever, but in retail, for example, there are different kind of retailer. Retailer where someone buy one for all, Carrefour, Auchan, or big names, and other that are much more cooperative-like. So even if you make a frame agreement with your customer, but the real sales is going to be with the real owner of a small store behind the corner. That is the example of retail, but can be applicable on different market. So whenever you have a dispersed account where you do not have just one buying, but you have many, then indirect sales are very effective. If you have only one major account or one buyer, then direct sales can be more effective. It is a lower cost approach, and you can have a really high sales bandwidth. The example we said before, 6 reseller can get you 60. You need to become, in that case, a sales manager, not a sales account. A sales manager who drive the salespeople of your reseller of your wholesales. This is a very fundamental trick. How to be able to drive people who is not employed by you. It's a seminar by itself. It is a very uncomfortable. You cannot give orders. You conquer their mind through authority, competence, easy outgoing, examples, being able to show how to do. So you can be a virtual director, sales manager of your reseller, and you should become like that, but you needed to get authority status, be able to supply them value. Relationship is also important. Believe me, this is a key point to be successful, especially if you use channels. You need to become a virtual sales director of your channels. I propose a technique that I named it as sales pollination. You know, the bee going flower to flower, where you use hunter to support farmer. The farmer are the reseller. The hunter is your people. So, in reality, try to make the best of two ways to go to a customer, channel and direct. The indirect sales execute, but you develop. So you have hunter who go to customer, develop the market, but then stand out and allow the channel to make further sales. Step out from a sales cycle where you consider is now safe and allow the channels to close the sales cycle and to perform the execution. Was exactly what I did use in Lithuania. I went to Iki and Maxima and I talked with them and I asked, I am from NCR, I would like to get you as my customer and I would like to ask you one simple question. Who you are confident to run business today in Lithuania? And they gave to me 5 names. Then I went to the channels. I get engaged with 2 of them. And then I went together, opening up the market, teaching and showing what I was doing to the reseller, then closing and then disengaging. And going to Finland and allowing the local reseller to further develop the market. So, using both and expecting that if I develop the market for a reseller for free customer, then he need to develop other 30 by himself and activate a very positive way to go forward. Question? Yeah.
Yeah, now I think wholesalers, and that we are thinking wholesaler versus agent, because I feel like presence in the market is needed. I can also try looking for resellers for myself that we want native language, we want physical meetings and so on. So we are thinking maybe agent, but we are not sure where to find good agents, how to actually find them, because wholesalers have everything. We have contacts, we have client base, they have personnel in their company, but we also want high margin.
And you needed to get a real touch with the customer, because one of the game of a wholesale is to sell your product, but to shield you from the customer, because at the end the customer is their value for you, and more they keep this value in their pocket, and more you are depending from them, and as you said, you need to pay in terms of margin. But you can find sales agents, you can hire people locally. You can use a hiring agency and just be very clear on what you're looking for and describe. There are many companies around Europe that use one man working from home and representing a foreigner in the market, but going together with the sales, with the reseller, but protecting your interest. Be sure that so when you're making hiring, you should be very clear. I want a sales guy. He needs to be a sales developer, read hunter. He needed to be able to act as a virtual sales director, need to drive the sales force of a reseller, and needed to develop a relationship with key customer in the country. It's not impossible. Looks like complex, but it's not impossible. Take time, but it's not impossible. You can do it. And you can make it. And then you have the ability to keep your feet in the market and have armies, your reseller working as a farmer and your agent working as a hunter, going to develop for the farmer. And as soon as once developed, the farmer come and take care, and boom, 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 the bee effect. But it's much more easy than what looks like. Sorry. This is what we just said. You needed to be sure that the reseller or the distributor get prospect assigned. You cannot just rely on, our market is good or our market is bad, we have a very tough market environment, or with this very good economical momentum, blah, blah, blah. You needed to gain a time where you nail down with your reseller who they are going to address. Going back to your question, you need to be aware where they're going, and you needed to start to measure. Remember the virtual sales director, you need to start to measure what they're doing. How many visit? How many customers they are working every month, every week? And debate, and should be also part of a contract. Prospecting. How many customers they are prospecting? And eventually build an incentive plan on prospecting, on market development. The contract is not only, okay, the product is that, 50% discount, thank you. It's not like that. Need to be much more complex. In this way, you can get a combination and you can reach a lower cost in terms of market development. The benefit is a part of what we were just saying. You have the best of the direct sales with the best of the channel sales. A business developer can drive much more account because can disengage from the customer that is working about. Remember the metrics we said before, 5 to 10? A business developer with the help of a reseller can work on 15 to 20. That's doubling. So it's like to have 2 salespeople at the cost of 1. Then you need to make and develop a mind sharing program. Mind sharing program can be various. For example, Microsoft or Cisco or other company in the IT and telecommunication have a very powerful mind sharing that they name as certification. In order to work on networking devices, you need to be certified by Cisco. And you need to get training on a certification. So the certification way is just another mindshare game. Be sure that people certified by me every day will think about the Cisco products, not Huawei or Nokia or whatever. And other, I'm just saying names as a reference, but not as a real example. So the mind sharing program is a key component. In the case of a question that we were making before, 60 wholesales. How much are you investing on wholesale, on mindshare? Okay. Good. So my suggestion is to have a very clear, detailed program to be sure that your wholesales or distributor is attacked in terms of mindshare. Investing, qualification, training and certification, incentive, salespeople working as your agent to go and show how they should run the business. All are a combination of techniques that will allow to build a very tight connection with your distributor. The wholesales is even worse. Wholesales are really logistic distributor. They can guarantee to you to deliver at the customer. But then, who is prospecting? Would you really expect that wholesales is going to prospecting for you? Value added, and what is the value added? In the term of ability to sell or in term of complement the product or solution? For sure, value-added wholesales or value-added distributor is very valuable, much more than wholesales. You can have a wholesales, definitely you can, but in that case you need to develop marketing technique to be sure that someone is in the market building demand for your product, because the wholesales is not normally spending a single penny to make demand creation. Demand creation is on you. And you think to save money, but in reality you are going to spend money in order to develop demand creation. Demand creation should be done in any case, even with the value-added reseller, because in any case you cannot rely only on them to be sure to open a market. Demand creation means marketing. Are you familiar with demand creation terminology? What is a demand creation? Sure. Demand creation is like in English, create the interest in someone to do something. She was making demand creation to prepare the seminar, issuing around 60 invitation, 6,000 invitation, putting on a website that would be the seminar. So was stimulating inside you the interest on this event. So demand creation is just that. But why I am saying is irrelevant, because the best to make demand creation is you. Because you know and you can connect your offering product with the customer. The reseller and the wholesales and the distributor can help you to develop demand creation, and is a clever ways to build together, but at the end is you who drive. Because if you allow them to drive, they will drive for their interest. Then not necessarily is your interest, because they are two different companies. Yes, they represent you, but they are different. Before starting the sales process, what about questions? What time are we going to have a lunch? In 15 minutes. So let us stay here before starting and let us talk between us. So out of what we just said, any question? Yeah. Yeah. Oh, for sure, it is part. Demand creation is a one word or two word, a statement to encompass a complete process. That part is what you just said, but you need also to understand who is the customer, where you're going, and to make a proposal. And the outcome of a demand creation is to build a qualified lead. So a typical example of demand creation is advertising with coupon. Make advertising where people answer. Or telephone call, cold call. The cold call is demand creation because you qualify people. Many marketing activities are belonging to the category of demand creation. But the outcome is not inform. The outcome is get someone in contact with you because got intrigued, interested by what you're saying. But in order to achieve this point, you need to have a knowledge on what you're doing. I give you just an example of what happened to me yesterday night. I don't know how. Someone got my phone call, my phone number. In reality, I am quite public. I mean, you can get a lot of information about me on internet, around, so it's not so uncommon. I get a phone call and this guy saying, "Hello, Mr. Santalucia. I am blah, blah, blah from Lithuania. I know that you are going to run a seminar tomorrow about sales, and I am offering to Italy products, blah, blah, blah," and started to talk with me about the product that he would like to sell in Italy. I mean, what is good is that, what I liked is spend time to find my number. He get access to me. So, was something that I rewarded giving him time. Otherwise, I would shut down the call quickly. Sorry. If it is the telephone company, "Hello, I have a very wonderful offering about changing your phone provider." You normally what you do? Stop. But this guy was at least spending sales time. What was wrong that he did not check, are you eating, are you making love, are you resting, are you sleeping, are you doing anything? Just boom, and just going on the product's offering. It is not the outcome of a call. The call outcome is to get a qualified lead, to be sure that someone got interest on you in order to prepare to move forward on the sales cycle to the next step. Selling too early damages sale. You're out. You're out of business. So I said to him, maybe he's here, or he's here. Or he said, I cannot come, and I will try to come at lunchtime. No problem. I'm available. I'm here. But again, I appreciate the selling effort that he was doing to reach me. The only thing was wrong was just to choose not checking the right time and not managing on the relationship side, not on the selling by itself. We were talking about technique of marketing. I have also another example of poor marketing. I told you before, advertising with a response coupon. It's a typical example of qualifying a lead, development of leads, lead generation. I remember I saw a wonderful advertising in USA. Wonderful advertising, well done. With was a total black background with the products in highlight, almost three-dimensional, beautiful. With on a right bottom side, there were the coupon. But who has a white pen to ink in a black background? Who has? No one. So how can you expect a response from something done in this way? So again, this is much more for marketing people. You need to be aware and pay attention also on how you manage your communication. And if you expect people to go back and you forget to put your phone number, how they can call you. But believe me, there are so many doing the stupid things like this. Forget to put the wrong number or making an error of a wrong number so no one can call back. So lead generation means, again, developing a communication with the goal to achieve a contact with a qualified lead. The difference between lead and qualified lead is generic, someone who could buy from me. Qualified is someone that now I know what he would need for. Why?
We need to say, because, for example, some ask for wholesale, and we already have a wholesale there, but we are not 100% sure, it's not very well developed yet with that wholesale. A lot of questions are answered there. And how to say no without actually saying no.
That is a very nice dilemma. That is a very nice dilemma. If you are so lucky that you have a multiple channel asking for you, then even if you have already a channel, then what you would say? You start to qualify your channel. And a qualification can be just a commitment. How is the commitment from your today channel to you? In terms of sales, in terms of volume of sales, in terms of market development. So you needed to, because you are in a very lucky situation, you started to develop a channel qualification. So there, guys, we were making business in the last 3 years, and we are pretty happy about you. But now time to go over. So you can be my distributor if you reach a monthly target of 10,000. If you give me visibility on which customer you're going for. If you start to sell not only the product that you ask me, but also these other products that I have in my catalog. So, because that is a very nice situation, because you have already developed customers, and you now start to put in competition. I mean, lucky, finally. Yeah, not only you who need to compete, they start to be in competition for you. So say, someone else want, okay. The one who's giving me the highest commitment is going to get it. What is important, that once you commit and they commit, you commit as well. So for the time of period that you agree upon, you are very loyal and respectful. Because in business, loyalty, respect is a key point, always. Just because someone else comes and says, oh, I promise you 3 times of what your world says is doing, you need to pass through a qualification and understanding why he's saying something like that. Maybe he's right, but you need to be sure. And even if he's right, in any case, for your image, it's better to wait for the end of a commitment you gave to your previous one. And then at the end, you can go. Absolutely. Absolutely, you are lucky. You are in a position where you can ask for better qualification. Other questions? Did I kill you so much? One morning and you are already dead? So come on, give me a question. Give me a question.
I can ask you about French market.
Oh, you see, that's in any case there were a question. Let me just play a little bit. Again, this is just another example. Do not be shy and little bit in an elegant way, nice way, but push. Probably people answer to you more often than what you would expect. France, French market.
Is it as South European when you have introduction and content, not just through Skype? Visiting, having meetings?
Like all the other South European, the relationship is important. For sure, you need to have the product that is fitting and so on, but without relationship, it's not easy to make a real good business. Without relationship, you are going to be in danger on one single point, margin, your margin, because you need to give away a lot of margin, because you need to be very aggressive on pricing. More you have a good relationship, and more you protect your margin.
But it's hard market. I mean, to enter Lithuanian brand, is it hard? It's not like it's more nationalist. We prefer made in France or even made in Germany. Which are you talking about?
German and French market are very nationalist. So, but that can be managed using a local channel who shield you, hide you, and who is playing his French relationship much easier than what you could. And he become the guarantee for your value of your offering. But you're right, nationalism is very high in France. Language is also very important. They are not, they know English, but they are not loving to use English. You needed to use French. I have to tell you a bad story by myself. Parlez-vous français? Oh, très bien, je peux comprendre. Si vous parlez doucement, je peux comprendre. I do not speak very well French, but I understand very well. And I was the general manager for NCR France for 2 years, and before that I was also one of the way when I went out, I was also a country manager for another company. To no one I told that I was understanding French. In business meeting was terrific. Was terrific. No, I'm not saying that you needed to play like a bastard, but sometimes language can be an area of gaming. My suggestion is do not tell to everyone that you speak French. Because you would think that it is important, and it is important. But it depending on where, and you need to decide where applied or not this can become a weapon. Okay, do you think we are in time for lunch?